Well, hello and welcome to the homestead. Welcome to Homestead Happenings. We haven't done a Homestead Happenings in quite a long time, guys, and we're gonna go through the reasons for that today. It is extremely cold out. My hands are freezing, just in case you didn't know. Yeah, we're in a cold snap. First one of the year. Not looking forward to outside chores today, but we're going to get it done. So one of the things that's going on is we haven't been very consistent with the scheduling of our videos. And I apologize to all of you about that. I know some of you have reached out to us regarding that, and there's a reason why. And I'm going to show you some of that right now. And one of the things that we've been doing, which you guys haven't seen, is here on the house. We started putting our fascia boards and our soffits on. And let me just show you real quick what we've got going on. So you can see up in there, not too bad. It doesn't look that bad in the camera, but guys, it's bad. I have a problem with my sawmill. It is cutting boards that are, well, let's just say wavier than the ocean in a hurricane. Let me see if I can dig one out here for you so I can show you what's going on with these boards. So hold on, let me see if I can flip this one up. Yes, it's kind of windy today, but hopefully this will stand up and you'll be able to see it. Okay, let me get you guys turned around. So this is what I'm talking about, this board right here. And if you look down it, you can see it's just wave after wave after wave. It's probably kind of hard to see there. Let me see if I can. Yeah, can you see that, guys? Can you see how that is just all over the place? Hopefully you guys could see that, but yeah, we stopped the fascia and soffit board project. The fascia boards are going to be fine, but those soffits, they're all, and there's no point in putting them up if I just have to take them back down and replace them once I get my sawmill going. And we're going to go up to the sawmill. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So that project got started and we weren't able to finish it or make much progress because it's not working out the way we want, and we don't want to do things twice. We don't have time for that. So that is one of the things that's a little disappointing. But on a good note, I'm going to show you right here. You can see this area. Let me show you. This area right here, you can see around all here, all out to the pigs, all out there. That area was very, very rough, very uneven, with a lot of low spots that caught water and got muddy and mucky. And now that I have a box blade on my tractor, I decided it was time to rework this. So I came out, didn't film any of it, ran the tractor around several times after a decent rainstorm, but it wasn't enough to really loosen up this clay soil enough. So we had a little bit more rain a couple weeks later, and I was able to tear it up, get it tore up, and get it flattened back out. And we reseeded it And you can see, well, Smokey's out there, but you can see it's starting to get green. So that's a project that we're very happy that we were able to get going and get done. Missy is starting to take our garden apart. It's almost done. We're gonna take the trellising and the T-posts out. And guys, I don't know if you remember, you probably saw me putting in this fencing system 2 years ago, and I thought this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it for our garden. We're gonna have all of this fencing for the rest of our lives here, and it's gonna be perfect. But we have a big change coming to our homestead, a dramatically big change coming to our homestead. And to make that happen, we actually have to take all of this fencing down and take all of my H braces down, take them out to make room for this garden improvement that we have going on. So that is going to happen this winter, in the near future. But again, getting back to the sawmill, guys, I have all of this timber right here, which came from the trees that I dropped for the pigs, and that'll all get moved up to the front. But this huge pile back here, and frankly, from up front up here all the way to the back by the pigs, there was a natural gully where rainwater would flow across my property in heavy storms. And when they cleared our land, they put all the stumps and the debris and the tops in that gully. And I'm gonna turn you guys around so you can see just a touch of it. You can see it in there, and it goes on forever. There's that wood pile, and it goes behind it. And that's a big problem. And I know it needs to get burned, and it is gonna get burned. The problem we have is it butts right up against the forest right there on the other side of the gully, which is our property, but we don't want to catch the forest on fire and have something that goes out of control. So I reached out to, let me turn so you guys can see that debris pile. I reached out to our local fire department, and actually the chief of the department, very nice guy, he came down, and I told him what I wanted to do. I told him what was going on. He looked at it because I wasn't really sure. This debris pile is probably 200 yards long and 20, 30, 40 feet across with that big pile of logs. So it's a big burn. And he came out and made a few suggestions, like bringing in a dozer, separating it into bits that we could separately burn out, hiring a guy with a dozer to come in here for multiple days, multiple trips, was really not an option that we have financially. So he told me, if you light this and it gets going, he could park 60,000 gallons of water here, and he's not going to be able to put it out. He could, even if there was a hydrant here, he's not really sure he could control it that way to put it out. He said the best way to do this is to go into the wood line back here and cut a fire break all the way down the back side of it. Now, we're not worried about it getting out of control coming this way because the vegetation's low. It's just grass. It's more getting into the forest and getting into the pine needles back there. And he said, reach out to the forestry department. They do controlled burns. And they will come in and they will not only bring a dozer in and cut a fire line behind it, but they will set this on fire and they will take responsibility for the burn. Which I was like, oh, fantastic. And they will also go around the outskirts of my property, all over the place, and they will cut a fire line. So if there's fire, say, in the pasture out back, and it gets into my woods, that it can't encroach very far, and our property is protected, and most important, our house is protected. So that's huge. They are coming next Monday to assess the situation, and they are going to start doing burns in February. So when and if that happens and they're able to take this job on, we will definitely bring you guys along. Here you can see I've got a big pile here and I've got a big pile here. That is also wood from clearing for the pigs, and that is going to be ready to go on the sawmill. But guys, I'm up here. I'm at the sawmill. Let me show you what's going on. So there is my sawmill. As you can see right here, I've already used the box blade to try and scrape this area here out a little bit, because we have to move the sawmill. We have to reconfigure the sawmill. And frankly, what I should have done is built a platform right from the beginning, but we just didn't do that. And I'm thinking, instead of having it going this way, I'm gonna turn it and go the long way over here. It'll be better for our setup. I'm gonna set up some log like stanchions so that I can put the logs up on it and they're up off the ground, and then just roll them forward onto the sawmill. Very typical of how a modern sawmill would operate. So this is for the most part scraped out, and my buddy Rich, he's going to come over with his tractor. He's going to help me finish scraping it, and we're going to get in a load of rock, and we're going to build a platform, and we're going to pour a slab, and we're going to set this mill up finally exactly the way it should have been set up from the beginning. And I didn't, and now I'm regretting it. For those of you who have been here since the beginning, you know when we got the sawmill, pretty much the first week we moved here, we had the sawmill set up on just the little feet down on cement blocks, and that didn't work out so great. So we ended up, I milled up these logs and we put it on the logs, but those logs are untreated wobbly pine. And what has happened is, in the course of getting rained on and sun on and everything, they're starting to get soft, but more importantly, those logs are waving. And when those logs wave, they're causing my track to wave, and that is causing all of my problems. So it puts a complete halt on anything we want to do in the house from a milled wood perspective. All of our walls on the inside are going to be shiplap that we're going to make on the sawmill, and our outside siding is going to be clapboard again that we're going to be making from the sawmill. So we need the sawmill running, we need the sawmill working properly, and I think the only way to do that really is to set it up over here on a slab of concrete where it can't move, it's stable, it's supported, and frankly that's the way the instruction manual recommend to set up your sawmill. So everything's in the works to make that happen, and hopefully that will get us pretty far come, I don't know guys, probably midwinter. I'm hoping to have this project done in the next 3 to 4 weeks at the farthest. Building this slab shouldn't be too much. Rich believes he can pick up the sawmill with his tractor, so we'll be able to get it on the slab once it's relatively cured. It should be a quick little job, so let's keep our fingers crossed that everything works out just the way it's supposed to. When I was talking to the fire chief, you can see my big pile of cut ends. Unfortunately, they're right underneath my power line. So he said, don't light that up, it'll melt the power line. But the forestry department will take this, where is it? It's right there. And they will push it into my debris pile. And when they light it up, they can do that. And that gets rid of that. So that's a big setback to the house build. Unfortunately, but it doesn't completely stop us. We have insulation. We're going to start doing insulation inside to get that going. We can do plumbing. We can do a bunch of other stuff. But now that all the electric is done, we can certainly, excuse me guys, certainly get it all insulated. And at least that way it's ready for when I can start cutting some boards and routering them into shiplap and getting them put up. Missy's garden, her greenhouse and her raised beds. The raised beds are put to sleep. She's got garlic in this one. We're not growing as much garlic this year, guys, as we have in the past, because we just have to be cautious of all the plans that we have for next year and be ready to make those happen. And to do that, we can't plant garlic the way we usually have. But here's a view from the other side of the garden. You can see it's pretty much put to bed, but see that, guys? We've got 2 different cages of bunnies out here, and I will take you in there so you can see the bunnies. So we have these bunnies right here. These are 2 females and 3 male bunnies. And I'm sure you're asking yourself, why are your bunnies out in the garden in cages like that and not in our rabbitry over there? Well, that's why, guys. So it was time to cull out those rabbits and send them to freezer camp. And last week we started to do that. And we got all set up right over here at our station. And we got 2 bunnies done. And while I was working on the second bunny, I was pulling the hide down with this hand, and I had the knife in the other hand, and my hand slid off the hide and straight across and cut my finger all the way across the top of it at a slant like this. Pretty sure right down to the bone. We stitched it up. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, Smokey. What are you doing there? Come up high to visit? You got a clump of something in your head. Anyway, don't get distracted. Yeah. So we fixed it up real quick, put butterfly stitches on it, and I taped it up. And luckily for me, right now it hasn't had any infection. It's been a week. It's sealing itself back up very nicely. The meat is gluing itself back together, as you know, flesh and muscle do. So I'm optimistic, but those rabbits, they gotta wait another week for it to really, I want it to be really sealed up good before I get into finishing off those rabbits, because I don't want to get anything in there. I don't want to get blood in there, anything like that. So, but that brings us down here to our rabbitry, which is right there. These guys are going to be moving. We are going to take them from where they're at, because guys, in the springtime, the area in front, it gets muddy, and that's no good, and we don't want that. And we've been talking about doing something different with our rabbitry anyway, so we're gonna end up moving them over there next to the chickens and the pigs. But one of the other things we've been doing behind the scenes, and if you're new, I'll show you what I'm talking about. We have these 2 shelter logics that we have had up for a couple of years, storing all of our belongings, all our tools, any furniture we brought down, pretty much everything has been in them. And this one over here had our freezers and our washer and dryer in them. Well, guys, look, they're almost completely cleaned out. There's just a couple of items in that one, and this one is pretty much completely cleaned out except for my motorcycle. If you saw several videos ago, we ended up getting a storage container, and everything went in there and it worked out fine. We even have our freezers in there, but because we had water in our house and we have power in our house, our dryer and our washing machine went into the house. So we have these 2 storage units, and yes, my motorcycle will be going into the storage unit. We have these 2 shelter logics, and they're a little beat up, but they're still maybe got another year or so left in them. So we've decided we're gonna take this one over here, and we're gonna bring that, let me take you over there, over and put it next to the chickens and the pigs and all of that good stuff, because that way we'll have all their feed, and all the animals are going to be relatively in the same spot on the homestead, and which is how it should have been from the beginning. And it makes chores easier, it makes everything easier, so I think it's going to work out well. So let me, watch out, Smokey, get out of my way. So we got chickens, pigs are back there, right over here, let me show you guys, right here, right next to them, is an open area where I had my trailer parked. So it has already cleared down most of the weeds. I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna clean the rest of the debris out, and that will put our rabbits in a shelter right there. So they're right next to the chickens and the feed and everything else. And then the second one, we're gonna stick right back. I'm having trouble, my fingers are cold. Right back here, behind the house, to get it out of the line of sight. Temporarily, guys. And that way we can put my tractor, our borrowed lawnmower, our personal walk-behind lawnmower, my chainsaw, the weed whacker, basically all our outdoor equipment that we want to keep protected, that can all go into a shelter logic right here behind the house. And that's only till I can get my shop built, which is going to happen probably, if everything, fingers crossed, if everything works out right, that's going to happen next fall. So we're hoping to be done with the house spring, early summer, because we don't have much left to do on the house, guys. We have our outflow plumbing to come out of the house into the septic system. That's the next big challenge. And then literally, if we can get it insulated, then it's just a matter of milling up the boards for the interior walls and getting them up, and then milling up clapboard for the exterior walls and getting that up. So the house is in pretty good shape. It's coming along nicely. A lot of the big steps are already done. Of course, in the house we have to put in the flooring and cabinets and stuff like that, but the real big projects, milestone projects, are done on the house. And then all we'll have to do is skirt it off and it will be good. So that's where we're at. Oh, I've been saving this one to the end, guys, because I'm a little bit embarrassed about this one. But because we're in the camper again this year, we had to skirt it off. And we decided to go with this foam board skirting. And I know when you look at it, you're gonna say, oh my God, why didn't you cut that so it's just underneath the trailer, underneath the camper? And there's a good reason, guys. There's a good reason for that. When we do the house, we're gonna skirt the house with this same material. And as ugly as that is, and it's pretty ugly, it keeps all that foam board in one piece for the most part. There's some small cuts that had to be made to make it work, but for the most part, it's all solid pieces. And literally in 3 months we can take it back off, because come March we start getting out of winter. Winter really here is only January and February, maybe a little bit of December. That's about it. But with the exception of today, it's usually above freezing all the way till the 1st of January. And then come March, it starts warming up pretty quickly as well. So the foam board is to keep the floor warm, and more importantly, keep our water from freezing. So come March, we'll be able to do that, and we're already midway through November. So December, January, February, that can come back off, and we can reuse it, because foam board is not cheap. And to just use it one time, when we're gonna need it again within a year, it didn't make sense. So we decided to go this route. And this winter, when you see the camper, you can have a good chuckle, because I'm kind of at the chuckle point too at the state of our skirting. But it works, and that's the only thing that matters. So yeah, guys, we've had a lot of stuff we've done behind the scenes without turning the camera on, because winter is right around the corner. The sawmill not working kind of happened as a surprise, and I had to jump on figuring out what I was going to do with that, and we just didn't film. So we thought we would bring you guys up to date on everything that's going on, everything that we have happening, so that you're aware, and apologize for not getting videos out on a more consistent basis. But later on this weekend, we're going to be back in the house. We're going to be doing a couple of things. We have a big product that we've been waiting to have come in, and it has finally arrived. So we're going to be getting that installed. So that'll be in the next video. Guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking around. We really appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.